first cage belongs to 6-month-old Syrian hamster Popcorn. You have a 776 square inch cage, 8 to 11 inches of bedding, a 10-inch wheel, sprays, cocoa fibre, a sand bath, a multi-chamber hideout. I really love the setup of your cage. It looks really nice and enriching. One thing that I would upgrade is your wheel, as the minimum for a Syrian hamster is 11 inches, but preferably you could get a 12-inch wheel, depending on the size. Just make sure that your hamster's back isn't bent. One thing that I would also add to add extra enrichment is some more sprays. I know you have a couple of different types in there, but some sorghum and paduma sprays would look really nice in this cage, and it would add a lot of coverage for your hamster as well. Overall, I would rate your cage a 9 out of 10, and it would be a 10 if you added some more sprays and upgraded the wheel. The next enclosure is home to 6-month-old Toffee. She is a Syrian hamster, and this enclosure is just over 1,100 square inches. She has a 10-inch wheel, a multi-chamber hideout, cocoa soil, cool granules, and sand on the way. You reassured me that her wheel was fine because she's quite a small Syrian and her back isn't bending, so that's okay. And I love that the wheel is the same colour as the hideout. It looks really nice and it ties the enclosures together really well. I would add a lot more sprays and DIY border breakers because female Syrian hamsters can be really demanding. So the sprays will provide enrichment and coverage, and the border breakers could be really helpful. Overall, I'd rate your cage an 8 out of 10. I think you just need to clutter it a bit more, add some more sprays and some DIY border breakers. In this cage lives Acorn, the 1-year-old Syrian hamster, and you have a 990 square inch cage, a sand bath, a multi-chamber hideout, and cocoa fibre. You also have a blue Trixie wheel, which is 11 inches. I absolutely love the Acorn hideout that you have in the sand bath. It looks so nice, and your cork logs and forage look really good too. Something I would recommend adding is, again, more sprays. That will just clutter the cage a lot more. There's so many sprays you can find on Etsy and Amazon. I would maybe also DIY some more hideouts. But yeah, overall it looks really good. I would just make a few adjustments and then you'd be at 10 out of 10. So right now you're going to be at 8.5 out of 10. The next cage houses Hash Brown, the Chinese hamster, who lives in a 760 square inch cage. You have 7 inches of bedding on one side, and you have a sand bath, a multi-chamber hideout, and an 8-inch wheel, but you said you do plan on getting a bigger one, which is great. Personally, I would add a lot more bedding in this bin cage, so it's all level. I would add possibly 10 inches at minimum so you can fit a wheel in still. I know that bedding can be expensive, but you can look into Gypsy Classic bedding if it's available to you, which can be a really cheap and great option. And if you can get your hands on some, it'd be great to see you add lots of sprays and possibly some different substrates as well. But overall, it's a great start, and I love the hedgehog hide you have in your sand bath, and I would rate your cage a 5.5 out of 10 at this time. Thank you so much for submitting your enclosure. The final enclosure belongs to a Syrian hamster called Sushi. His enclosure is 1,400 square inches, and he has a 12-inch wheel, 10 to 12 inches of bedding, and different textures such as cocoa fibre, cocoa bark, beach chips and sand. I love your forage and your grapevine pieces. They look really nice. And overall, there's nothing I can really critique about your cage. It looks all good. So you've got a 10 out of 10. Thank you everybody for submitting your cages. It's been great looking at them all, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!